Hello, it's Sebastian Danicic here again. I'm now going to show you a little bit about CSS and how to make your web page look more pretty. So here is a very simple piece of HTML, and here is what happens when we look at it in a browser. In particular, we're using Chrome to look at it. So let's play around with this HTML and add some style and things like that until we end up with something a bit prettier. So here it says document title, so let's change that. So let's call it Seb's page or something like that. So I save that, and if I reload the browser, I see now it says Seb's page here, whereas before it said document title. So now when you look at it in the browser, you see in the tab it gives what the title of the page is. So now we've got, what have we got here? We've got the head, and we've got the body, and then we've got some headings. It says web page title, web page subtitle, and then inside that we've got an article, and inside the article we've got a couple of sections. So let's just play around with that. Well, to play around, to add, to make it look prettier, we have to connect this page to a style sheet. So what we do is we need to add this command here, which I've prepared earlier, and put it into the head of our HTML document. So that says there's a style sheet. There's a link to the style sheet that we're going to use, and it's called 5.css, and it's in the same directory as the web page. So we'll save that, and at the same time we'll look at 5.css. There's nothing in 5.css, so when we reload the web page, nothing happens. So slowly I'm going to build things up into this 5.css and will be changed, and as I do it, you'll see the web page becoming more interesting. Well, again, there's one I've prepared earlier, but I'll do it slowly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make what this says. It says the body is going to be colored red. So let's see what happens when we do that. We'll save that in our 5.css. We'll reload, and now you see all the text in the web page has gone red. Now, sometimes it's quite nice to have a sort of a different texture in the background of our image. So we can search online for textures, and we can find different images which we can save, and then use those as textured images as backgrounds for our web page. So there's one I've done earlier, and I've called it silly4.jpg, and I've put it in the same folder or directory as the web page that we're looking at. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that also into here. Now if I reload the page, we see it's got a sort of sandy background because that's what the picture was. It was a sandy sort of picture. So you can put any picture there, and that'll give a background image to your web page, like that. You might not like that. Well, then you can just replace this with another one. Obviously, you'd have to download an image and store it in the same directory that you're working on. Okay, so so this thing says we're applying these styles to the whole body. So the next thing I'm going to do is for the moment, I'm going to do that. So what's that going to do? It's going to make the H1 tags go purple. So where are the H1 tags? Well, it says there's one, web page title, and section 1 heading and section 2 heading. So now this one is going to override that one. So everything will stay red apart from the H1 tags, which will now go purple, as you can see there. Now we can do fancy things like adding shadows to our to our text. So if we do that, I'm saying the H1 tags are also going to have a shadow. We can play with those values in a minute. So let's have a look what happens. So now, as you can see, the H1 tags have got this funny shadow underneath. So if we change some of these values, what happens? So I'll change that from a 1 to a 3. I don't know what that did. Let's make these bigger. 30, 30. So you can see that that's one's to do with the distance from the the shadow is from the actual image, and the other one sort of how big it is. So so let's make these back to smaller numbers, and it should go nearer to the image. Okay, now if we wanted to shift it more down, we'd probably make this one bigger. There we go. So these are like the offsets of the shadow, and as you can see, it changes. So we can add, we can do that. We could do similar things with any of the tags. So we've got shadows there. Right, now let's do something with our H2 tags. So I've decided to make the H2 tags green. So now what happens? We see there was only one H2 tag in our document, their web page subtitle, and that's gone green. The only thing that's left red is the text that we had here. We've overridden, although we've said the whole body is going to be a red, we've overridden that with all the different things we've got here. Okay, so now let's do something else. So now what we've done here, we're saying that sections, they're going to have a background color yellow, and the text is going to be centered. So let's see what that does. So now you see these everything within the sections has got a background color which is yellow, and the text within that is centered rather than aligned to the left. Now the nice thing about HTML5 is we can make up our own tags. There are these special things called sections and articles and things like that, but we can make up our own. So let's make up a tag called fish. So we have a begin fish and we have an end fish, and we can write something in our fish tag. We can say, hello, I am a fish, or something like that. Now if we look, if we re-show this page, we see hello, I'm a fish appearing in red, because we haven't actually told it to do anything particular about fish. So what we have to do is in our style file, in our style sheet, we have to tell it what to do with fish. So let's come down here. So we're saying that the background color of a fish is green. We're saying this, how big the font is going to be, 100 pixels, and then we're using these transformations which will change the angle of the fish.